What if the man who once seemed to have everything, 6 major championships, a happy family, a 13,000 square foot mansion in one of California's wealthiest zip codes, was quietly losing all of it, one door closing at a time? Because that's exactly the question golf fans and gossip watchers are asking right now about Phil Mickelson. Mickelson's estate, with golf greens and bunkers out his 13,000 square foot mansion, sits on a 5.85-acre property about 25 miles north of San Diego, the kind of home most people only dream about. But according to multiple reports, the walls around Phil Mickelson's world have been closing in fast, and the story involves his wife Amy, his finances, his reputation, and questions about what really happened behind closed doors. So what actually happened? Let's break it down. First, the golf course drama. Reports indicate Phil Mickelson left a golf club following a reported demand from his wife Amy and the couple's wealth management firm to sell a condo he owned on the property. Think about that for a second. It wasn't just Amy pushing back, it was the family's own financial team stepping in. Mickelson was reportedly a member of the Madison Club, one of the most exclusive golf communities in the country, and insiders allege the pressure to sell and exit came suddenly and firmly. But that's only the beginning. According to the same reports, Mickelson allegedly gave his phone to employees and members at the club, asking them to hold on to it while he disappeared for hours at a time, a detail that immediately raises questions. Why would someone need to hand off their phone during a round of golf? What were they trying to avoid? Sources allege this pattern wasn't isolated. He is also said to have been kicked out of the farm's golf club outside San Diego over allegations that he made unwanted physical contact with a female employee, according to Golf Digest. That's a serious allegation, and it didn't stay quiet. It became part of a wider pattern reported across multiple outlets. The Mirror. But it doesn't stop at just 2 clubs. According to the same reporting, after his exit from the Madison Club, Mickelson reportedly began spending a lot more time at the Bridges, a club closer to his family home in Rancho Santa Fe, and even there, he would eventually leave. One longtime member of that club recalled a very different picture of Mickelson, describing him as a big presence around the community, someone whose family used to spend Thanksgiving dinner together in the clubhouse. It paints a picture of a man once deeply embedded in his local community, surrounded by family, familiar faces, and years of shared history. So how does someone go from Thanksgiving dinners with his kids in a clubhouse to allegedly being asked to leave that very same place? That's the part of the story that keeps people talking. Now let's talk about the allegation that turned this from club gossip into something far more serious. When word broke that law enforcement was involved, the entire tone of this story shifted. This wasn't tabloid chatter anymore. This was an actual case being looked at by investigators. The San Diego County Sheriff's Office told media outlets it had not found evidence supporting a sexual assault allegation, but said it would investigate further if additional information became available. Notice the wording there, not case closed, not no wrongdoing. It's an open door, and open doors in stories like this tend to keep people watching for what comes through them next. For a public figure with Mickelson's profile, even an unproven allegation can reshape how sponsors, fans, and tour officials see him. And that raises another layer to this story, reputation versus reality. In the court of public opinion, allegations often carry weight long before facts are ever settled, fair or not. That's exactly why so many people online are split down the middle. Some believe this is a targeted pile-on during a vulnerable moment in his career, while others believe a pattern this consistent across multiple clubs and multiple sources can't simply be coincidence. Heavy sports. And it's worth remembering, this isn't the first time Mickelson's private life has spilled into public headlines. Years ago, he made waves discussing his finances publicly, saying that rising tax rates in California were part of why he stepped back from joining an ownership group for the San Diego Padres, and even hinted at making, in his words, some drastic changes to his life because of the financial pressure he was under. Now, years later, we're hearing about wealth management firms getting involved again, except this time it's not about taxes, it's reportedly about protecting the family's assets and reputation amid a very different kind of crisis. Meanwhile, what's been happening to Mickelson's career during all of this? His only competitive appearance in 2026 came at Live Golf South Africa, where he finished tied for 48th. For a six-time major champion, that's a stunning fall from where he used to be. He wasn't in the field for the US Open at Shinnecock Hills, and he missed both the Masters and the PGA Championship earlier in the year. This is a man who used to be must-watch television every major weekend, and suddenly he's almost invisible on tour. So where has he actually been? According to his own family, the answer is surprisingly human. Mickelson's mother, Mary, told USA Today Sports that her son is as happy as she's seen him in years during his extended absence from professional golf. She said he made several visits to his parents' home in San Diego during his break from golf and even spent time getting closer to his young nephew and niece. She explained that as his career grew, he had been slowly pulled away from doing the things that mattered most, but now he's finally back in a good place. Heavy sports, +4. So which is it? Is Phil Mickelson a man who's been quietly forced out of his social circles, his golf clubs, and possibly his marriage under a cloud of serious allegations? Or is he simply a father and son taking a step back from the spotlight to rebuild what actually matters? The truth might be both. Because even as these allegations swirl, Mickelson has consistently pointed to family matters as his top priority during his extended absence from professional golf. And notably, his name remains on the entry list for the Open Championship, which suggests this story is far from finished. Now here's what makes this even more fascinating. Phil and Amy Mickelson's marriage isn't new or fragile on paper. They've been together for decades, built a life, raised 3 kids who are now in college, and weathered plenty of public scrutiny before, including Phil's very public, very controversial gambling revelations in past years. So when reports start surfacing about wealth management firms stepping in, about sudden exits from exclusive clubs, and about unconfirmed allegations involving law enforcement, it raises a bigger question. How much pressure can even a decades-long marriage take before something breaks? And if Amy truly was the one pushing for these changes, demanding the condo be sold, demanding accountability, what does that say about where their relationship stands today? Is this a story about a marriage in crisis, or a story about a wife protecting her family's name and future, no matter the cost? Heavy sports. Heavy sports. We don't know for certain, and neither does anyone reporting on this outside of Phil and Amy themselves. What we do know is that the picture being painted by multiple sources is one of a man whose public image has taken serious hits in a very short window of time, while his family, at least publicly, insists things are actually improving behind the scenes. That's the tension at the heart of this story. Public allegations versus private reassurances, tabloid claims versus a mother's testimony, a sheriff's department that found no evidence versus a pattern of departures from club after club. So which version do you believe? Do you think Phil Mickelson is a man being unfairly dragged through rumor and speculation during a difficult chapter of his life? Or do you think there's real fire behind all this smoke? Drop your take in the comments below because this story is clearly not over. And if new information comes out, you know we'll be covering it right here. If you want to stay ahead of every twist in this unfolding story, make sure you hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications, because there's a lot more coming. Like this video if you think Amy Mickelson deserves respect for how she's reportedly handling this behind the scenes, and let us know in the comments what you think really happened behind those golf club gates. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.